Hey there. How y'all doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Hello, Jay. Good to see you back. Stella, welcome. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jen Satellino, and I'm with the College Place, Oregon. And my job is to help you transition from where you are right now into whichever type of education after high school works best for you. So that can be 2-year college, it can be 4-year college, it can be a certificate, it can be an apprenticeship, just pretty much anything that you can think of. And so today what we're going to talk about is the dreaded scholarship and college application essays. And so to make this easier for you, I'm going to run you through and give you some quick insider information. Not quite insider, but what I want to do is kind of make this a less mysterious topic for you and show you how it can actually be really, really easy. So I've got 3 tabs up. I'm going to start with the Common Application. Have you both heard of the Common App?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So in a nutshell, Common App allows you to complete one kind of master college application, and then you can add things to it for different colleges and universities. What I really like about it is that it means that you're writing the same statement. You're not having to write a new statement for every college or university that you apply to. And so the Common App has a bunch of different prompts. I've got them right up here on the screen. And so I just kind of really quickly want to just read them to you. And then I'm going to read you some other prompts from some scholarships. And I think you'll catch the gist of this pretty quick. But so for Common App, you would write one essay or statement of 650 words or less based on one of these prompts. You can see that the last one is share an essay on any topic of your choice. And so that's kind of what I love to see because it gives us a lot of leeway. So you could answer one of the first 6 prompts, or you could talk about something completely different. The first one is asking if you have a background, identity, interest, or talent that's so meaningful and so describes who you are that if somebody didn't know that about you, that your application would be incomplete. The second is specifically asking about a time that you faced a challenge and what, hello, Emmy, what you learned from it. And so the key with this one is it's not like the Olympics of who's got the saddest story. What we're really looking at is the fact that you faced something and you made it through. So you were able to, excuse me, develop a set of tools or use a set of tools or use your experience to kind of work through something. So one more. Sorry, I've got my controls all over the place here. Trying to make sure everybody that wants to get in gets in. The third prompt is to reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or an idea. And I've had some students take this as changing somebody else's idea, but it's really challenging a belief or idea that you hold. So kind of looking at maybe evidence to the contrary or listening to some arguments about why the other side might be the correct side. And then what happened after you did that? The fourth one here is to reflect on something that someone has done for you that made you happy or thankful in a surprising way. And how has this experience and the gratitude from it affected you or motivated you? So things like that, we like the happy stuff too. So I'm going to go ahead and mute folks as they come in so I don't have quite so much background noise. Next, I think this one's my favorite. Discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or of others. Number 6, describe a topic, idea, or concept that you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. Why does this captivate you? Who or what do you turn to when you want to learn more? Please do not tell me it's something on TikTok. I've had that response so far this year, but we really want you to just think about What's your passion? What makes you just get so excited that you kind of block everything else out? And for those of you who joined us just a little bit after the hour, number 7 is my favorite one. It's to share an essay on any topic of your choice. And so that's really where I think that we'll be able to make the whole process of writing personal statements, of writing these college and scholarship essays a little bit easier for you. So we've gone through these 7. I'm going to show you, we've got 2 other essay prompts I want to share with you. And the first one comes from the OSAC scholarships. And you might not know yet because you're juniors, but in Oregon, we have kind of a common application, but for scholarships. It's one master application that you fill in just once. And then as you find scholarships that you're eligible for, use that application, you just add them to your application. So, and it makes it really easy and convenient. There's usually between 500 and 600 scholarships to choose from. There are 4 personal statements, 3 are required on the OSAC scholarship application. When I looked at the common essays over here, these were 350 words. OSAC scholarship statements are about 1,000 characters. So we've gone from maybe 3 paragraphs down to just 1. So you're going to get used to writing very shortly and succinctly. And the first question is asking about your specific educational plans and your career goals and why you chose that path. And what we're looking for here is just making sure that what you want to do matches up with what your plan is to achieve that. So if you want to be an architect, you're not going to major in biology. Something really easy like that. The second one is what you have done for your family, school, or community that you care about the most and why. And again, you're just a couple, maybe 3 to 4 sentences here. But this one they're asking, what have you done for others and why is that important to you? And this third one, describe a personal accomplishment, impactful change or experience that has occurred in your life. And that sounds just like one of the Common App essays. And so this one goes a little bit more, they kind of let you know what they're looking for. They want to know what skills, what tools, what strengths you use to respond. And then what did you learn about yourself? That OSAC has an optional essay. And this is similar to essay number 1 here. You might have a background, identity, interest, or talent. That's just so important. OSAC here is asking that question, but it could also be like finances have changed. And when you fill in your financial aid applications, the FAFSA or the ORSA, they're very rigid in what they put in. So whatever you feel that you need to let them know. Now, there are a couple of scholarships that ask for additional essays. The most common additional essay, and again, just 1,000 characters, is your experience living or working in diverse environments. So kind of keep that in mind. So a little bit different and a lot shorter than the common application essays, but really we're still asking kind of the same questions. We're trying to figure out who you are, what's important to you, and how you're going to, I don't want to say attack, but how you're going to face and overcome challenges or obstacles. So whether you're going to just dig in and be stubborn and really just double down on your effort, whether you're going to ask for help, whatever it might be that you're going to do, we want to see what that is. We want to see that it's worked for you. And then we want to see that those same tools can apply in another challenging situation. So my last set of examples I have for you are from the Ford Family Foundation. They have 4 scholarships that they offer here in Oregon. And most of you are very traditional, juniors in high school, going to be seniors next year. So you'd be applying for their Ford Scholars Program. And so they're going to ask you 3 personal statements. The first 2, you have to just do what they say. And the third one, you get to pick between 2 prompts. So again, 150 words. That's maybe 4 or 5 sentences. So these aren't really, really long answers. They're nice and short. The first one, what have you done for your family or your community that you care about the most and why? Like provide us specific examples. This is almost word for word the same as the OSAC scholarship personal statement. So, and for Ford, service to family and community is a really core value of the entire foundation. So they're very, very interested in your answer here. The second is to describe a skill or ability or knowledge that you've developed that you're proud of. We want to know how you developed it and why it's important to you. So this could be that something that you learned in school. It could be something that you learned from a family member or a neighbor. It could be something that you learned. This is where you can say, I learned this on YouTube or on TikTok, or I did, internet research. So we just really want to make sure that you can tell us kind of how it happened, and then why it's important to you. The third essay, the third statement, you get your choice. So the first choice, what are you known for among people who know you well? That's one question. The second one is, what would you like to be known for? And how will college help you achieve that? And I love reading these. They're fun for me. The other choice is to think of the places that you grew up or that you consider home. What lessons have you learned living there? And how have they shaped who you are today? So if I can do the math correctly, I think I just read out like 15 or 16 different essay prompts at you. And don't worry, I'm going to have these links up for you. I'll get them out to you. And I didn't do that to intimidate you. What I was hoping is that you could see how similar a lot of them are. They're asking the same things. Again, we're asking about, who you are, your identity. Tell us about yourself. What did you learn? What do you consider home? What did you learn from that? We're looking at your ability to overcome challenges and obstacles and to face adversity. So again, it's not who had the biggest challenge or obstacle. It's what you do when you're faced with a setback, because we don't want to admit you to our college or to give you a scholarship and have you, stub your toe and be like, that's it, I'm dropping out of school forever. So we want to make sure that you've got, tenacity, that you're going to be able to really, I hate to keep saying overcome, but I want to make sure that you can overcome an obstacle, but that you go about it in a systemic way, that you know what's worked for you in the past, and you're going to try to apply those tools to any new challenge or obstacle that you face. So, and then the last one, OSAC has questions about career goals. Ford has one that asks, tell me what people say about you in essence, and what you want them to say about you. But I really like this idea of something that you're proud of. So it could be, you're really proud of your GPA. And I would hope it's not that you're proud of the number, but that you're proud of what you've done. All of the work that goes into having that particular number of a GPA. It could be that, your team or your band or your choir went to state, maybe your forensics team, your soccer team, whatever it might be, that you enjoyed not just that experience of going into the playoffs if it's sports or going to the state competition, but that teamwork and what that has taught you about yourself. So there are a lot of different things that can go into this. And so even though those all sound really, really different, again, it's that theme of knowing who you are and being able to describe what makes you tick to others that's really underlying all of these essays. So this summer, we'll have some workshops, and we'll spend probably all of July not actually writing anything, but thinking about what we're going to write. And I will lead you through some exercises. And I'll ask you things like, can you, think of just in really quick off the top of your head, 3 times you were proud of yourself. And I always laugh because the first time I remember being proud of myself was when I tied my shoe for the first time. And I was a little bit old as a shoe tire. Like I felt like every other kid could do it but me. And I can tell you exactly where I was sitting in my landlady's house. And I was just sitting there trying, and she saw me do it. And I got so excited. Hopefully you'd have something that you were proud of, and more contemporary than something that happened when you were a toddler, or in my case, a little bit bigger than a toddler. But so think about that. So anytime that you've been really proud of yourself, that usually means that you've achieved a goal, or that even if you fell short of a goal, that you felt like you really gave a lot of effort and that you really left nothing on the table. Like you put everything you had into this. If we're talking about community service or, service to others, remember it's not just the big flashy community service. It could be something as simple as, I mow my next door neighbor's lawn because she's got some mobility issues. And even though we've never talked about it, when I do my lawn, I just go over and do hers. It could be, helping younger siblings. It could be helping out an older brother or sister who's on their own but needs some assistance, maybe with their kids or their pets or whatever it might be. So just think of ways that you serve others. And the reason we ask you about that is because when we fund you to go on and get education after high school, what we want to do is to make sure that as we're paying it forward, you're going to pay it forward as well. So if you're like, well, I'm proud of myself because I got to like the 15th level on Super Mario Brothers, or I haven't played the new Harry Potter video game, but I hear it's fun. But so instead of just saying I'm proud that I've leveled up, even though that can be a fantastic thing, if that's the only thing that they know about you, they're going to make some assumptions. But if you're like, well, I'm proud that I've leveled up in this video game, and at the same time, I volunteered in my little sister's 3rd grade class, and we did X, Y, and Z. Maybe you played Harry Potter with them. Who knows? But we want to make sure that you're not just keeping all of this awesomeness inside. We want to see that you are spreading that out to others. And that makes us feel good, because while we might want to support 20 or 30 students, maybe we can only support one as a scholarship. And so then like, well, we've picked this really wisely. Even though we're only supporting this one student, we know that they're going to lift up others as well. So any questions about that? I know I'm just kind of like, blah. But so I like to ask when you are proud of yourself. I like to ask, what you've done to serve others and how that makes you feel. Trying to think, I have like a whole little list. We usually go through about several prompts. One of my favorites is you can tell me, just list out 6 people other than your family who've had a big influence on you and why. And you are allowed to list a pet for that. So we do a lot of brainstorming. And I think like people who have had influence on you is important. Even though you're not going to write an essay or a statement about them, you know how they've made you feel, and you've gained from knowing them. And so that can give you a couple of different ways to go. You might want to make other people feel that same way. You might be able to say, oh, I've got these skills now. My grandfather taught me to can vegetables or smoke meat or whatever it might be. You can pass those concrete skills on to others, or you can just, use them for the rest of your life. Are any of you starting yet to think about writing statements? Have you been in any classes where that's been an assignment or something that you've talked about? You can just like nod or give me the thumbs up, thumbs down emoji, or there's a little reaction where you can raise your hand. So is this coming in just completely? All right, so Gabriella, you've done a little bit of this before. Anyone else? And Gabriella, that's usually really hard to write about yourself, isn't it? I had to write up something for my company newsletter and it was awful. Yeah, you too. I had just been in Emmy's class like the day before talking about how hard it is to write about yourself. And then I sat down to like type up a quick paragraph and I was like, this is horrible. So and that's why we spend a lot of time. So what you can do now to make this easy. And so I want you to spend some time just thinking about, what excites you, what makes you tick, how you approach information, how you approach people, how you problem solve. Just kind of see if you can really kind of get into your own head there. Because ultimately, when you're writing a statement or an essay, whether it's for a college application or a scholarship application, what you're trying to do is to give the person who's reading it a glimpse into who you are. There are times where there are things that you just don't want to share with anybody, and you don't have to. So this morning I was meeting with a student who has, she was first diagnosed with brain cancer. I think she was like maybe 10 years old. And it kind of comes and goes. and she's like had a great couple of years out in treatment now. She doesn't want anybody to know, and she's applying for things because she's like, that's, you know, something that happened in the past. It's not a big part of my identity, and she doesn't want anyone to feel sorry for her. So that's her choice to make. And as somebody that's, you know, working with her and coaching and suggesting, I'm never going to tell her, no, you have to talk about this. Sometimes there are just things that you want to keep to yourself, and that's okay. You get to choose what you disclose and what you talk about and what you write about. All right. So to make this nice and easy, I know I promised stress-free, not quite relaxing, but what I want you to do is just for the next week or so, just really kind of think about it. If you were trying to describe yourself, so let's say you're an alien and you landed on Earth, and you're like, oh, and now I've spent a week with this Jen Satellino character. What is she like? And just try to be like objective, you know. And if it helps to start, you know, I might first start, because I don't like to write about myself, I might be like, well, you know, she's a middle-aged lady, kind of got some gray hair, you know, kind of this kind of, you can start with the surface stuff, but then hopefully you can get a little bit deeper each time you stop and think about it. So I can tell you, I cannot keep a calendar to save my life. Like the concept of time is really hard for me. And I end up early for things, late for things, scheduling things on top of each other. It's always kind of a mess. And that's just how my brain works. So if I were being really truthful in describing myself, and now I'm blushing, but that's something I would have to bring up, because at least once a week, I'm like, oh, how did I do that? How did I get things on top of each other? And that's, so again, I might not disclose that to somebody because I don't want anyone to think that I'm irresponsible, but you know, it's something that describes me pretty accurately. All right, any questions? I'm going to send you a copy of the websites that I took us to today. And then I'll make this video and I'll get it put up on the web so that you can come back if there's anything that I said that you want to think about and come back to it. And then I'll be here again next week. And in the meantime, I know next week is spring break for most of you. So if I show up Monday at 4 and nobody is here, that's okay. I'll just record what I was going to record and push a video out to y'all. But I hope you have fun. But I will be working next week. So if you have anything that needs me, please feel free to text me back and let me know that you need me and we'll figure it out. All right, anything? I mean,
are these scholarships just for Oregon schools?
they're for Oregon students. So
Okay.
OSAC, you can usually take anywhere in the country. With the Ford, that last tab that we looked at, they do limit you to doing your undergraduate degree in Oregon.
Okay.
Although if you're accepted and then they support you through into your graduate program, you can do graduate work anywhere in the country.
Okay, thank you.
So that's a good question though. Gabriella, did you come off mute and then go back on mute? Change your mind? All right, then. I'm going to let you go. I know I promised to try to keep these really short, like 20 to 30 minutes. We're at 23 minutes right now, so I'm getting a little anxious about that. But I'll have information out to you. Stella, did you have something?
Well, I guess it's not like entirely about like the personal statements,
Mhm.
but I was like looking at the personal statements for like the Reed's like Young Scholars Program, and they also have a question about like scholastic distinctions. And like, do you know more about like what those are? Like what that means?
Be like if you'd been on the honor roll, if you'd been in the honor society, if you won, you know, the high school I went to like had, you know, outstanding first year math student, which was never me. But so if any of your teachers, if any of your faculty have ever recognized you as being somebody outstanding in a particular class or a field, then that's what they would want to know. Or if you've been invited to be part of any academic associations.
Okay. Do you have any suggestions if we like if we don't really have anything like that?
Yeah,
like, we
you can, like if your high school just doesn't do that, you can always say like, my school doesn't do this, but I have a 99% in my okay, my junior English class, that wouldn't have worked yet either. But, you know, you can say, I really was a pretty okay student in high school. I enjoyed myself. I did well. But you could say, like, we don't have this, but I can tell you that my favorite courses are, you know, X, Y, and Z, and here's why I like them. And if you do have something like National Honor Society, or some high schools have like their own honors programs, like if you take these many classes in this order and you can get like an extra cord at graduation, talk to your counselor and figure out like what it takes to get into that. You can say, I'm not eligible for any of those yet. Or you can find out like who's the academic advisor for any of those programs and go, you know, chat with them or send them a quick note and say, hey, what do I have to do to get into National Honor Society? So, and that it really varies school by school. Some schools will take first year students and some schools wait until like the last semester or term of the senior year, which makes it hard when you're filling in applications like that, read one.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, if you want to text me, we can just brainstorm a little bit and figure out what we know about your school and what we can do.
Okay, yeah, because I was looking at like the AP like scholar like recognition, but like I've only been able to take 2 so far. Like, would that still be worth it to?
I would still talk about that and say, I've taken 2 so far and I'm taking 3 more my senior year, whatever it might be.
Okay, so that would still work.
That would still work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Emmy.
So I have 2 questions. Are these open for both juniors and seniors? And then for like, do any of these require the FAFSA registration before you apply? Because I know a few scholarships do that.
Yeah, so the 2 scholarships that I showed you both open up on November 1st. So they're just for graduating high school seniors. But they keep their statements the same from year to year so that you can start preparing for them early, which is why I bring them up right now. Usually with the financial aid, the FAFSA or the ORSA, we don't necessarily think that you have to have it completed before you start the scholarship, but scholarships will ask for a printout, not of all of your answers, but just kind of that final confirmation that has some numbers on it. And so, you know, if a scholarship's due in September and the FAFSA and the ORSA haven't opened yet, they can ask for that, but you won't be able to provide it for another couple of months.
Okay.
So, but just kind of, as you're kind of looking at your calendar and plotting things out, like figure out when scholarships open, when you can start getting into that application, when they close. Same with college applications. And then just know that over on the side here, you'll be doing your FAFSA or your ORSA probably somewhere between October 1st and January 1st.
Okay.
So you've got a couple of months in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so now we're at 4:28. But if you do have questions, text me. I am around all of next week. I'm out next Wednesday, but I'm going to be around. So if you need me, please let me know. And texting is probably the fastest way to get to me, and then I will text you right back. And hopefully I will see you again. And if not, I hope you'll have a wonderful and fun spring break. Don't do too much schoolwork. Don't work too hard if you're working. Just take a little bit of time to relax and just kind of start thinking about how you would describe yourself. All right. Happy Monday. I will see you all later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.